Okay, quick video today. This morning when I got up, before I actually got up out of bed, I kind of made the decision to start reading again. I love to read. I really didn't spend much time reading as a teenager or even younger, other than funny books or what we called funny books, comic books. Yeah, I kind of slipped out that we called them funny books. Anyway, so when I got out of high school, I went to work in a factory, and I worked 1 year inside the factory in the production area. And then after just about 1 year, they offered me a position as a night watchman, which would have been a little over 40 hours a week, because the shifts were like 6 at night till 7 in the morning type thing. And I worked, I believe, four of those days. So they offered me a position. It's a position that they didn't. The company's no longer there. The building's there. We went and looked at the building a couple of months ago, and but the company's no longer there. And they would to hire somebody for that kind of a position that has keys to everything and so forth and so on. They had to be somebody they trusted, and they chose me, and I was actually pretty honored to do that. So I did that for 6 years, starting in 1980 to 86. And it was very boring. There was nothing to do. You couldn't do any work or anything like that. You just had to make rounds around the building and then make sure that the equipment that was running, because there was refrigeration and other things that had to be kind of monitored on an hourly basis, and that was my job. But other than that, it was very, very boring. So I decided one day, I was at a bookstore getting magazines or newspapers or something, and I went back to the paper book section, and I discovered louisl'amour, and he writes Westerns. This would be a book that I wouldn't get until a couple of years after I discovered louisl'amour, but I went ahead and just picked up a book. I chose a book and a paperback, and they were like 85 cents for these paperbacks. And I've still got them all. I've still got like 30 plus louisl'amour paperbacks. And if you'd like to see them all, I will dig them out. They're somewhere stored in a box somewhere. And dig them out and kind of go through them. The first one I bought was called The Burning Hills. And I believe, right off the top of my head, it was from 1956. But it would have been 1980 or 81 when I bought it. So I found the love of reading louisl'amour books. And after that job ended, I kept reading a little bit. And I would pick up a book every now and then and start reading it, but it kind of wasn't the same as it was down there in that big old warehouse. And all down there all by myself reading these books was just fantastic. So at some point, I just kind of didn't really read anymore, and probably a lot of years went by. And every now and then, I would pick up a book and start reading it. This one was given to me by a co-worker when I worked at the corporation. He found out that I enjoyed reading louisl'amour, so he actually gave me this one. And at first I thought, louisl'amour, last of the breed, it looks like a modern day thing, and it kind of is. But I didn't read it for a while, and then the opportunity come to open it up and started reading it. And I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite louisl'amour books. I have read this probably 10 times since then, and it's a big thick book. So at some point I had started reading it, and I actually started reading it quite a bit, and I got all the way to, here's these old-fashioned ads that you'd find in here. This is from the 1980s, you see. Boy, those are, I don't know if you get anything like that anymore, but you can send off and get them. But at some point, I started reading it, and this is as far as I got. So, 32, chapter 32 is where I left off. And as I stand here trying to read this stuff, I can make out some of the words, but I can't make them all out because I am not wearing glasses. But before I had my surgery, this would just be one big blur. But let's look at what I used for a bookmark, just an old, oh, wait a minute. What's in here? Oh, look at that. So that's a record that I made. Now I can read that because it's bigger. It says Borden Chantry 102508. That's a bookmark I used back in '08. Last of the Breed. So I read that in 12/12/08. That's the date would be when I completed it. I did not know that was in the envelope here. But that is something that I would definitely do. So this is the last time I read any of my Louis L'Amour books. I went back to The Burning Hills. I completed it in September 24th, 2018. That would have been just after my hip replacement surgery. And then I read the book Flint, which is a really good one. I completed that in October of 18. I was doing pretty good there. And then The Broken Gun, that's another really great one. I completed that in May of 20. And then I started Last of the Breed, and I never completed it. So I probably started it sometime in later in 2020. So I probably started that because it was a pandemic and I was home a lot and all the rest. So I have not finished this. This is where I left off. And today I want to start, once I get home from doing all my stuff, I got to do a bunch of running around today. 2 things. And then we'll come home and we'll try reading it. Now let's have a look at my glasses. So the last glasses I was wearing were Foster Grants. We got a pair here. These are 2.75s. And then I got another pair of Foster Grants in this nice little case. So this is what I was wearing for the last few years before the surgery. And they are trifocals. They're pretty powerful trifocals. So this pair is the same as the other, only they have a different shape to them. So I can read my watch really well. And I can see the book. I can read everything I can see there. Those definitely bring it up. If I take them off again, I can't focus. I can see, I can make out some of the words, but a lot of them are blurry. So I definitely need reading glasses. So that is really good. The closer I get to it, right there seems to be the best. That is really good. So I definitely need reading glasses. These are not my favorite reading glasses, or my favorite glasses. These, on the other hand, are also Foster Grants, but they have a different shape to them. But they are basically the same thing. So I can wear either one of these pair. Again, these are trifocals too. Everything as I look around my house is totally blurry, no matter how I try to look through them. But I can easily read the book. So once I get home later today, we'll get the book out and we'll try reading it. And I'll probably just wear these glasses at first, because they are plastic and they have broken. There's a break right here, which has been super glued, and one right there. Because they're Foster Grants. They're about $25 to $35, depending on where you go. I was going to Walgreens to get them. But unfortunately, all of our Walgreens here have closed down. And I guess that's kind of a normal thing. Comment down below if you know anything about the Walgreens, or if you have one and they're closing down. Both of ours are, and it's kind of sad. I liked the Walgreens stores, but So anyway, I believe I'll wear these first because these are broken and glued. These, however, are not. I bought these a couple of months ago, and I haven't had a chance for them to break yet. So I think I'll just save those away, and we'll just wear the ones that are already broke because they'll break anyway. So that's what we'll do. Once we get back, we will open up louisl'amour and Last of the Breed and start kind of picking it up where I left off. Maybe he can help you too. I do not know. All right. I have read just a little over half of chapter 32. I was kind of concerned now that I have, literally new eyes, new lenses, what reading would be like. The glasses are working out really good for me. I haven't read enough to start developing a headache. I know that can happen sometimes from reading. It has happened to me in the past, but I think I'm going to be fine with that. You can always stop reading if you have to. And I was just curious to see how difficult it would be. But it's not. So far, I've only read, that's what, 5.5 pages in The Last of the Breed. So I'll continue reading tomorrow, or today, maybe later, a little bit later today, and certainly tomorrow. And I sure would like to finish this book. So comment down below if you do any louisl'amour book reading, and if you have read Last in the Breed. To me, it is one of my favorite books, for sure.